Hi, everyone. Welcome to the topic two, lesson two of cells and tissues. We're going to focus on the microscopic side of your body, okay, your cell and tissue. And without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is the learning outcome. You're going to be learning different tissues in your body and different part of your cells, and these are the chapters that in your OpenStack textbook. Okay, so let's talk about the organelles. Organelles are think of like the organs of the cells, right? Organelles is this organ of the cells. In order for the cell to work, your cell has to be able to um, have these other other departments actually doing different kind of functions. So your cells in your body, cell basically are building blocks of life. Every single things that living things on this planet are come out from the cells. So these are the basic stuff. When you have a whole bunch of cells, you create a tissue. Okay, information that you learned from the previous topic. Okay, so a whole bunch of cells make a tissues, right? Not all cells are the same. Not all cells are the same. Different cells have different things. You have a single organism uh, um, like bacteria and viruses and microbe. Those are one single organism. And even in cell in your body are not the same. Your cells in your body, you have some cells are your immune cells, some cells are your sex cells, some cells are your muscle cells. So each cell is completely different. Okay. Uh, One thing though that all of your cells do share some of the common features. Okay, all cells have similar common features, and usually all cells have these three things in common: your nucleus, cytoplasm, and plasma membrane. Those are usually the three things that they do have share in common. The plasma membrane are the layer that's on the outside of your cells. You might have learned this in Bio 181, okay, or biology class back in your high school. So the plasma membrane is think of membrane are like the walls, right? You have these if you think of a cell like a city, your plasma membrane is like a city wall. Okay, this is like back in the old days where you have the knights that kind of the kings and the knight kind of fighting each other. You need to have a wall that kind of um, prevent people coming into your into your town, into your cities. So they have these wall your cell make up what we call a phospholipid bilayers. Phospholipid basically tells you what it is, what it made of. Phospho is your phosphate. Lipid is fat. So you have the phosphate are the circles that you see on the outside. These are the phosphate. These red color here are the phosphate. Okay, on the outside, and you have the yellow tails. These yellow tail in the middle. These are the lipids portion uh, of your plasma membrane. Okay, they are polar, meaning that they actually have hydrophilic head. So the head, the phosphate, they love water, all the loving with water on the outside, and then you have the hydrophobic tail, which means they don't like water as much. So water would come and stay on the outside, but do not go in the middle and the inside, because the middle part is fat. Fat and water do not mix. So you put a whole bunch of fat oils into the water, you're gonna see they kind of separate it right away. Okay, so the phospholipid bilayer actually giving the cell the movement of the substance in and out, like become a wall that kind of preventing things from come in, but also help little things kind of leaks through, back and forth, going in and out of your cells. Okay. Different organelles you should know. First one is your nucleus. Your nucleus is where the head honcho live. So the head honcho is your DNA. The big boss, the mayor of the city, is called DNA, right? Where does DNA live? DNA live inside the nucleus. DNA live inside the nucleus. Just like a mayor that live in a city hall, right? Think of city hall like it's like a nucleus. Um, nucleolus is a little office inside the city hall, Okay, little office inside the city hall. This office actually does a few things. It makes ribosome. Okay, it makes ribosome. So these little dots are made inside this nucleolus, and then they kind of migrate out. Okay, so the ribosome, the key thing for you to know is they are protein synthesis. Ribosome, these little red dots are the protein synthesis. Synthesis mean making of the protein. So these are the site where you make protein. So synthesis is just a fancy term, mean making, right? Making those proteins. So think of ribosomes are like little workers that actually makes protein. Okay. You have the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum are these right here. ER, putting simply blunt, ER, think of them like conveyor belt. Okay, conveyor belt. DNA, the boss, the big boss, will send out information on this conveyor belt. Okay, on this conveyor belt, and then these ribosomes will pick up the order and saying, okay, what kind of protein you want me to do? Okay, this is the kind of protein you want me to make. So take that order, and then make the protein. So think of endoplasmic reticulum, kind of like conveyor belt, that those message, those order are coming in and then going to the worker, which is the ribosome, pick it up and making it, okay, making those protein. Okay. Then you have the smooth ER. The smooth one, basically, you don't have the ribosome. Okay. The smooth one do not have ribosome. That's all it is. The rough have ribosome. So rough, R for ribosome. So rough has ribosome. Smooth, no ribosome. You have the Golgi apparatus. They package your protein. So think of Golgi are like UPS and FedEx. What do they do? What can Brown do for you? They package your protein for you. Okay, package your protein. So protein is meaningless if you cannot package, like when you order stuff from Amazon, right? They have to package it before they send it to your home. Some of them you don't like those packaging, but most of the time they do package somehow, and then they send it to your home. So Koji apparatus like UPS, FedEx, and Amazon, they package stuff for you. Okay, mitochondria. Think of SRP, APS. Okay, these are the powerhouse. These are the one that make energy, and the energy in the cell is a form of ATP. Okay, ATP. So adeno triphosphate, adenylyl triphosphate. That's the ATP stand for. Okay, lysosome. Think of the waste management. These are people who clean out your garbage for you, taking the trash out for you. So right, lysosome on these usually are in green color. Are the rhizosome. Um, let's see. Oh, this one is in red. Okay, peroxisome and rhizosome are very similar. So lysosome. Think of Lysol. Okay, Lysol actually get the name from lysosome. Lysosome is to clean, so clean out your waste, your product inside your cell for you. Okay, you have cilia. Some of your cell have cilia, which is hair. Okay, hair. Usually, this is where they stuff coming into where they in your respiratory and produce mucuses in your GI tract. This is where you absorb your food as well. Okay, there's a microvilli, which is a little tiny hair in those cilia. You have the hair in the cilia, and then you have a little tiny hair that's growing around the cilia. Okay, that's called microvilli, and this is where we absorb food usually. Okay, flagella usually means tail, like your sperm have a tail that actually used for propel or swimming, right? Okay, so when we talk about solution, usually you have the solvent and solute. Solvent is basically the liquid part, the water of your body. Okay, so 2/3 of your body is in solvent, and solute is the blue one called participant or the solute. These are the solute. Okay, so think of if you think of like coffee you would be your solvent. Solute would be your sugar that you put in the coffee, or cream you put in your coffee that also is solute. Okay, some cream actually are in like little cube. Okay, So intracellular fluids, those are inside your cell, which you have the most. Interstitial fluid, that's the liquid that between your cells, on the outside of your cells. Okay, so intra mean inside. Okay, intra mean inside. Inter means between. So interstate, that's mean between state. International, between nations, right? Intra is mean inside. So intramural, that's mean you play inside the college. Intracollegial, that's mean inside the college, right? So okay, so two ways of how your membrane transport. You have the passive and active. Passive meaning that no energy requires. Usually is going from the gradient, which is higher to lower. Always going from higher. Think of waterfall. A waterfall always going from the higher on the top to lower on the bottom. Higher to lower, always, right? Um, that's passive transport. Okay. Um, Active transport meaning that you need require energy. You need energy to go. Usually, it go against the gradient. Going against gradient, meaning you're going from the lower energy to lower concentration to the higher concentration. So okay, so in order for you to send something from the bottom of the waterfall to the top, you need a little bit of energy. You need require some help. It doesn't happen by itself. Okay. Diffusion is the movement of going from the uh, higher concentration to a lower concentration. Okay, so diffusion usually referring to a movement of any solute or anything like liquid as well, going from the higher to a lower concentration. Okay, so liquid gases that usually going from higher to lower. Okay. Selective permeability. This term means that it only allows certain things to go through. Selective mean kind of like allowing certain people. I like certain people. I don't like the other one. Right. So the certain one tends to go through. The permeability is meaning that letting things going through. So okay. So certain material does plus pass through. The other one doesn't. So basically, what that refers to. Okay. Um, So waterfall follows solute usually. Water usually follows sodium. So if sodium can get through, water will follow the sodium. So wherever sodium goes, water usually goes as well. Sodium and chloride. Okay. So osmosis is the diffusion of water. Okay, osmosis. When we talk about osmosis, always refer to water, going from higher concentration to a lower concentration of water. Okay, and you could have a diffusion, different kind of diffusion, going from higher to low, and you could refer to gases as well. Some gases going from higher to lower as well. Okay, again, osmosis usually referring uh, to water of this following those solute. Okay. Facilitated diffusion, usually going again from when we talk about diffusion, it's always going from the higher concentration to lower concentration. Facilitated, that means there's a little gate that kind of help you go through those, and a specific gate for specific things. So you have a gate for glucose, you have a gate for sodium, you have a gate for potassium. So different gate, different things that allow to go from one concentration to another concentration, usually from higher to lower. Okay. Active transport again need ATP, need helps. The most common one that we often talk about is sodium potassium pump. Is bringing out three sodium and then bringing in two potassium, requiring ATP, requiring energy, going against the concentration, going against a concentration from low to high. Okay, so again, the common one would be the sodium potassium pump. The other way we use active transport is called exocytosis and endocytosis. Exocytosis is basically your cell pushing things out like these. So you have these vesicles. Exocytosis, you're getting rid of these guys. So you getting rid of this guy. These vesicles are moving out and releasing all these waste of your body. Okay, or hormone, could be protein, could be a lot of things. Okay, and then endocytosis is the opposite, is bringing stuff in. These on the left picture here, this endocytosis, bringing stuff in. Okay, engulfing. That's the key term to remember. Engulfing. It engulf. Right. Um, you have two other form. It's called pinocytosis. Pino is basically water. So instead of material like stuff like this, like protein or bacteria coming in, you just taking in water. So pinocytosis is basically just cell drinking, bringing in water. Phagocytosis, usually referring to your cell is eating another cell like these. Like you have the macrophage eating a bacteria, eating viruses. So they doing a phagocytosis, bringing it in, and then they kill it inside the body. Okay, you have four type of different tissues. You have epithelial, connective, muscles, and nervous tissue. Okay, so always know these four. These are the four types of tissue. Uh, Epithelial usually are on the surface on and all the openings, anything that actually open inside your body. You have the skin surface, you have the kidney tubules, lungs, which is a hollow organ inside. You have your glands, you have your intestine, right? So anything that's hollow inside, usually you have these epithelials, okay, on or outside of your body as well. Your skin, you have those. Okay, usually is for apical surface. Apical meaning that are free on the top, nothing is on the top. Yeah. A mean nothing, right? Without or nothing. So apical is mean nothing on the top. Okay, apical is free surface on the top. Um, on the bottom, usually you have the basement membrane. Basement meaning that is on like on the bottom for B for basement, B for bottom. This is where they anchor stuff on the bottom, and usually they are avascular, meaning that there's no blood supply whatsoever. Okay, no blood supply whatsoever. Okay. There are different types of epithelial cells. You have simple, meaning one layer. Stratify mean more than one, two or three layers, right? And then you have squamous, mean flat. Cuboidal, mean look like a little cube shape. Columnar look like little column. Okay. Then you also have the uh, pseudo stratify, which mean they are one layer thick, but look kind of like more than one, but they are just actually one layer thick. Simple squamous, they are usually flat, usually are in your air sacs. Think of where things need to be exchanged, like gases needs to be exchanged, so things need to be very thin. So usually on like just one layer thick. This is one layer thick cells in your lungs and your capillaries. Okay. Simple cuboidal, these are where you usually want your gland and to absorb things. So you want to know, okay, for your test, you do need to know the name and the location of these as well. Okay, the example would be like your gland and your ducts, and the example would be in your kidney and your ovaries, right? So, they do absorb things or secrete things usually. Simple cuboidals. Okay. Simple columnar, usually in your digestive tract. This is where you absorb your food. You have little hairs, so just recognizing those hairdo, have these little cilia on the top. Okay. So these are the simple columnar. Okay. They are single cell tall, look like little column. This is where they absorb things. Pseudo-stratified columnar epithelial, again, they are one layer, but they look like more than one, but they're just one. Okay, they look like double layer. They have hair on the top, a little tiny hair on the top, all over the place. Okay, they have many functions, including absorption and secretion throughout your whole body. Okay. Stratified squamous, this is usually on your skin, right? Your mouth, your skin, your esophagus, where you have many layers to protect from the outside environment, including, when you breathe, you eat, you want many layer in your throat. Okay. Then you have the special cell called the transitional cells. This is usually lying in your bladder. Transitional meaning that it change shape. Okay, change shape. So when your bladder is empty, these guys are become the cuboidal shape, like these, like little cuboidal shape. But when your bladder is full, completely full with pee, these become flat, becomes squamous cells. Okay, so become squamous. So squamous when it flat, when it full, Think of squamous, flat, full, and when it's completely empty, it's become cuboidal. Okay. Okay. In your gland, usually you have your cuboidal, right, on the top, and you have these glandular that kind of secreting epithelial cell that secreting hormones and other stuff like your sweat and oil as well onto in your blood or on your skin. Okay. Connective tissue is a second type of your tissue. You have connective tissue. This is the most abundant tissue. You have it everywhere, like from your skin, your fat, not the top layer of your skin, but deeper layer of your skin, your fat layers, your cartilages, your bone, your blood. You have everywhere, all over the place. Okay, and connective tissue, you have. There's various blood supply. Some of them are vascularized, really vascularized. Some of them are poorly vascularized. You not have a lot of blood there. Okay, so depending on location, some of them you do have lots of blood going to, but some of them you do not at all. Okay, extracellular matrix, meaning that you have these are non-living materials that surround the living cells. Okay, so component of your connective tissue, your connective tissue need to have these three components. You have need to have a cell, need to have a fiber, and you need to have a ground substance to make a connective tissue. Okay. Cell, fiber, and ground substance. Usually, uh, and there are different types of connective tissue. You have the dense regular, and then loose regular, and there's loose and regular as well. Dense usually are more like in your tendon, your ligaments, and your skin. Okay. So definitely know these example. You're gonna see that on your exam on your exam this week. Okay, knowing these different types of example. Okay, um, loose, you have your fat, right? Uh, so things about your loose connective tissue is to hold things in place, holding things in place. And cartilages are basically at the end of your bone, your intervertebral disc, your knee meniscus. This is where kind of part of your joint kind of holding your bones together, or uh, being a protection at the end of your bone. Okay, it even become a bone itself, actually part of your connective tissue, your bone cells, your osteocytes, right? And then you have your blood, also part of your connective tissue as well. Your red blood cells, your white blood cells, your platelet, all of those are your connective tissue. For dense connective tissue, you have dense regular and dense irregular. And dense and regular, as you can see, the patterns all over the place. It's multi-directional, meaning just going craziness everywhere. Okay, and this the location you should remember is your dermis of your skin, your fibrous joint capsule. Okay, that's the dense and regular. Dense regular are more you could see nice pattern, tightly packed. Right, those are your tendons and ligament. You need to know the differences between the two. Tendon is muscle to bone, and ligament is bone to bone. The way I remember it, ligament, like you're licking bone, like dogs lick bone. So licking, lick bone, so it's bone to bone. Tendon, you have muscle to bone. Think of it that way. Okay, so tendon, muscle to bone, ligament is bone to bone. Okay, so these are kind of connecting. So think of dense regular connecting two structures together, like your muscle and your bone to your bone. Okay, you the biggest tendon you have is your Achilles tendons, right? Your Achilles, your that's connecting your calf muscle to your foot bone. Okay, and your ligaments, you have like your MCL, ACL. All of those are connecting your knee, your bone, which is your tibia, to your fibula on the bottom. So connecting bone to bone. Okay. So other type of loose connective tissue, you have adipose tissue, which is your fat cells. What does fat do? It kind of insulate your body, help kind of storing energy for your body. And so the reason you're fat, basically you eating too much sugar, you get glucose. Those glucose get converted into fat, and that's stored in your body. Okay. Areola, which is your loose connective tissue, this is all over the place. Usually are kind of think of areola as more like a filler, the kind of filling in the space. Superficial fascia, right, surrounding the organ, kind of filling the space between your organ. Kind of think of like little pad, little, those things that you pack in your packages to make sure that those peanuts that you pack in your packages that prevent it from moving. So think of areola that way. Okay, they are just kind of tissue that just they are just to fill in the space. Okay, they are tear pretty easily, but they're there to make sure that things doesn't move. Okay, hyaline cartilage, different type of cartilage. You have hyaline and fibrocartilage. The hyaline is the most common type of cartilage, and this is like very rubbly matrix. Okay, usually at the end of your long bones, like right by your ribs and your sternum, right? So, so this is the most kind of more uh, in the middle of the road, not too soft, not too strong, right? It's a little rubbery. It doesn't easily bend, but not fixed as. So it gives little tiny bit of flexibility, not a whole lot. Okay, fibrocartilage is highly compressible. Okay, so usually these are more like lily thick cartilage, lily fibrous cartilage. This is think of your meniscus in your knee. Think of intervertebral disc. These are more packed. Doesn't actually move. You can only move them a lot. They're just there, kind of being absorption of your knee joint, of your vertebrae when you walk, when you run, absorb those impact to your body. There's elastic cartilage, one that doesn't mention here, but your elastic cartilage, think of like your ear. Think of how flexible your ears are. Your ear can be folded, right? Those are flexible cartilages that can be folded. Your hyaline cartilage actually in your nose. Your nose has a little hyaline cartilage in it, right in the middle. It's not as flexible, okay, as your ear compared to your ear. Your ear more elastic. So think of Highland as kind of like in the middle of the road between the three. The fibro is the hardest one, and then Highland is in the middle. Can be a little bit flexible, but not a whole lot. Elastic is really the flexible one. Your blood we're gonna cover in the hematology chapter, so we're gonna go in detail, cover more of your blood. But these are cells that help transport materials like your nutrients and gases in your body and help with your immune system as well. Your bone, I'm gonna cover a whole chapter on your bone as well, your skeletal system. This is this is where your calcium being stored. This is all your collagen fiber, and giving your body the structure as well. Muscle tissue, we're gonna talk about your muscle chapter by itself. There are three different type of muscle fiber you should know for this test. Okay, skeletal, which is voluntary, you move it yourself. Cardiac is your heart, you move it by itself, and then smooth muscle is your GI tract and your blood vessels, and that does it move it for you as well. Okay, and your nervous system, right? Your nervous system is also, we're going to have a whole section of your nervous system by itself. Basically just composed of your neuron and your nerves sending information in and out of your body. Okay. Again, thank you for watching. These are the summaries of this chapter. If you have any question, please let me know. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.